Hey, folks, Dave back here on a Friday night, early on a Friday night. Just going to do a quick chat here tonight. Um, Tomorrow, around 8 o'clock here, Boston time, we're scheduled to have Grant Fines on from 49 Hockey and 49 Football, Quick Tex Hockey, Quick Tex Football. So we're going to talk to the man who produced one of my favorite hockey games. It just come out of nowhere. I just started playing this in Colorado a couple of months ago, and now I can't stop playing it. And there's a few others that can't stop playing it either. So we're going to hopefully have him on tomorrow night. So if you got any questions for him, you want to get those ready for us. I just want to make sure that I sound okay. Okay. So it does sound okay. And, well, oh, here's the chat. The chat finally come up. It was a little bit late coming up here, but there's the chat. So, yeah, tomorrow night, Grant Fines is supposed to come on and talk about his hockey game. So we'll talk about that. And then next Wednesday, we're supposed to have Mike Sosinski on. I can't say that name. My lips don't work that way. But Mike from Pursue the Pennant is going to come on, and he's going to walk me through the cards and dice game. So I says, Mike, I haven't had a chance to learn it yet. I did play the PC game for a bit. So I says, I want you to walk me through it. So I'm going to put it on the table, and he's going to just walk me through how to play that game. And so that is scheduled for next Wednesday nights, if you will. Alrighty. So a couple things here. I discovered this new drink. It's this sparkling ice from Starburst. It's sugar-free, caffeine-free. It's probably loaded with all kinds of crap, I know, but it's carbonated, and it's really good. It's really kind of sweet, but it's got vitamins and antioxidants for whatever that's worth. But I've been enjoying that to go along with my bubbly here. I like my bubbly, too. The lady that cuts my hair recommended the bubbly, even though I have already tried it. She goes, that's the one she drinks, and she's got all kind of stomach problems. So I says, okay, if you got stomach problems and you drink bubbly, then it's got to be good for me. So I do the bubbly there. So we got a few people in the chat. Jeff, Barbara, Scott, Brian, come by. Thanks for coming by here. Just kind of chatting here real quick on a Friday night. And Barbara says she likes the bubbly. Yeah, I like it too. It's again, it's none of it's good for us. Let's just put it that way. Aside from water and grass clippings, there's really nothing you can eat or drink that's going to be good for you, so to speak. So yeah, so that is that. That's my speech on food. But again, there's things that are better for you than that. But anyway, I don't want to get off on the food thing. It's Parallel League comes by. Hi, Parallel League. Yeah, so there's the two announcements there. So we got some guests coming back on the show. So Grant tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, and Mike Sosinski with Pursue the Pennant next Wednesday, probably 7:30ish, I would imagine, on that one there. So we're going to play some hockey and some baseball here on the channel. Now, one other thing that's kind of funny, and before I get into the topic I want to talk about here, which is abandoning projects. So why do we abandon projects? So I thought that'd be fun to talk about tonight. So I take a lot of supplements. That's just what I do. And I take a lot of magnesium. It's supposed to be really good for you, help with different things that I got going on. And magnesium is supposed to relax you and help you sleep. Well, I was always taking it in the morning, and I was wondering why I was tired during the day. So I said, okay, maybe I'll start taking it at night. So I've been taking it at night, and it really hasn't made me any less tired during the day, to be honest with you. I still, do my day, and I get tired from time to time. But at night, when I take this at night before I go to bed, the magnesium, I have crazy dreams. Like vivid dreams. And I always have, but they've intensified since I'm taking the magnesium at night. And I wake up and I go, holy cow, that was quite the dream I had. So I'm deep dreaming on this magnesium. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I want to do with that. I think I'll keep doing it for a while. Some of the dreams are pretty wild. Some of them, I've been having some scary dreams, and I've had some not pleasant dreams. But nonetheless, I'm dreaming away at night with this magnesium. It's kind of crazy. And Parallel League says, I was just eating outside a juice bar. I love those. This one was tangerine. Yeah, this is the orange. I'm a big orange fan, as you can see I like my orange. When we were kids, we had those little juice bottles there. You had the orange and the grape. I was always orange all day long. Orange, orange, orange. So for me, I like the orange. But we did get the watermelon, and I had there was a pineapple coconut that was okay. But we discovered these. They were a buck at the store. So one day we were thirsty in the store. So we got one. And I was like, that's pretty good. Let's get some more. So we got some more, and so now I mix that up between that and the bubbly here. I do the Gatorade too, the sugar-free Gatorade. I'm gonna try to wean myself off the Gatorade and just kind of do the water. And I mean, you can't just drink water all day. I mean, that's just it robs you of what little joy you have left. So yeah, so all right, so what's going on here? So aside from the magnesium and crazy dreams and guests coming on the show, what's going on here? So I thought I would talk about why we abandon projects. And I got thinking about all the things that I was doing in the past. The new release, was it the Above the Rim PC game come out, right? Was that at ASG, Above the Rim PC game? And people are playing that, but it's college basketball. I'm not really into college basketball so much. As Joshua comes by from Vancouver. Good to see you, Joshua. And Joshua, I'm going to be playing some Vancouver games pretty soon because they played Montreal a couple times in the playoffs in the 70s. And I want to play out those series. I've been printing out playoff teams and playing some games in the 70s in highlight hockey. It's been real fun. And Vancouver's on my list to play. And I got them also playing the Islanders in the finals. I think that's the year I have them in the finals. So So we're talking about some of the product that's going on and some of the things I do and why I didn't finish them. Well, one of the things was the Above the Rim, talking about the basketball game Above the Rim, and what ended up happening was I went back to replay PC basketball because I had that and I like replay PC basketball, and I tried to do that 75-76 ABA replay, but I couldn't figure out how to get the rosters. So I was like, so I didn't play it. But I remember I was doing that Celtics season. I think it was actually during COVID. I think it was. And every night I was playing, and I had a lot of people watching. So I was quite deep into their season. I was probably 20 or 25 games deep into the Celtics season. And eventually I stopped playing and did something else, as you do. But that computer has since died on me. And so I never was able to back up that season and save it. So one of the reasons why we abandoned a project is if you save it on the computer, as I do with a lot of things, and then that computer stops working, you've kind of lost everything. I was doing a 1978 Red Sox season in APA Basic on the computer too, and that died. So anything I had going on, I was doing a Cleveland Barons shootout project, that's gone. So a lot of things I had in the computer is gone. I know what you're going to say. Well, that's why we play cards and dice, and we say, well, I put all my stats on the computer, and I'm just not smart enough to back up the stuff on a USB. So if it does crash, I can get at the backup. I just don't think you're just playing the game and enjoying it, and also one day the computer drive goes down, and now what do you do? It's not the end of the world. I had fun with it and I enjoyed it, and it's just so. One of the reasons is just if you have computer problems and you can't get your games, so that's one of the reasons I have with not finishing a project or abandoning a project, if you will. And then if you're deep into it, I think I was 10 or 12 games into the baseball for the 78 Red Sox, and I think I was a good 15 or 20 games into that Celtics season. And you just don't want to go back and replay it. And you just don't. At least I don't. There's very few times I said, oh, man, I'm going to go back and replay that because something happened. I usually I'm soured out on the project if I have a technical difficulty or if, I misplace scores or something like that. Or sometimes I've done some games and I found out I was playing it wrong, like severely wrong. And so I was like, well, maybe it wasn't meant to be that I do this project, because there was a couple times I was rolling. I just learned the game and I was like, oh, let me do this, and I was rolling the wrong dice, And there's another time I was playing something really wrong. It's like, oh, geez, no wonder why this is coming out weird. So it's you don't want to continue on after you've messed it up. Again, it's fun at your table, it's your way. It's not a big deal. But I just found that there's been some products that were messed up, some because of me and some because of the computer, and I've walked away from those projects. So that's one way we walk away from products. Like Jeff said here, a shinier project comes along, and yeah, and that's probably the biggest one. That's probably the biggest one. Okay, is that we, well, I say we, but me, I play a lot of games, and I like to play a lot of games, and sometimes I get on a new game. And I just, I get a bunch of seasons and I stop playing and I get all these things in my head and I'm going to play this and I'm going to play that. And it's really fun and really enjoyable. And then there's other times that, then I find a different game and it's like, oh, I'm going to go and start this now. And I used to take on ridiculous products. So I'm going to play the whole 78 season or whatever. Well, then you realize you can't. So now I try to keep my projects in a attainable, let's say attainable. I like to keep my products attainable. And so that's why, when I played Bank Shot Basketball, I played the 83 finals with Philadelphia and LA. That was attainable because I was really into that game and I could play a game or two a night. And I think at 3 or 4 nights, I knocked out the series because it was a sweep. And it was fun. And then when I'm playing highlight hockey, a game takes me half hour. So I can knock out a playoff series in, a couple of hours if I want. Or if I just play a single game, I can knock it out or whatever I'm doing. So I've kind of gotten away from the long projects, although I'm still chipping away at the 76 Red Sox with payoff pitch. That's still one that I haven't played in a few weeks, but I still want to keep. That's like right here next to me. So at any time late at night, I could just fire up a game and play, and it's ready to go. But so for me, like I said, when the computer crashes or I play something wrong, I'm not going to go back and replay it. I'm just not going to. So I try to keep in mind the game I'm using, whether it's a long game or whether it's a short game. I want to keep those. I want to keep those in mind that highlight hockey. I can play a whole bunch of games at once. If I want to play the quick decks, which is a long one, or Appa or a Hockey Bones, that's going to be an hour and a half to 2 hours to set up and play that. And I got to keep that in mind. And so if I'm going to try to play a lot of games, 10 or more, then that's probably not an attainable project right now. So I try to keep my projects attainable. But yeah, the big thing is that when we find the shiny and new projects, get a new season, a new game, especially if it's a new game for me and I really enjoy it. Again, the Bank Shot Basketball, the highlight hockey, I find games like that I really enjoy. Now you want to play the crap out of those games, and you're like, oh, I have all these ideas in mind for projects, and these are all the things I'm going to do. And I'm going to get this season for that project and this season for that project. And so you get all excited, it's like a buffet. You go to the buffet. Oh man, I'm gonna eat all the crab rangoon. I'm gonna eat all the chicken fingers, and after a couple plates, you're full. so you never quite get there. But yeah, shiny products are the big thing. Doug comes by. He says, trying the 49 Quick Decks football out again. I haven't played that in a while. I did enjoy that when I played it, but I haven't played it in a while. Tomorrow night, we're having Grant on. So if you're around tomorrow night, around 8 o'clock, Grant will be on. And you can ask him some questions about the football or the hockey game, if you will. Scott says he needs to start some projects. Well, that's always a good place. If you want to abandon a project, at least you got to start it, right? Jeff also says unrealistic projects. The project is just too big for us to ever finish. Yeah, and I've run into that too. A new season, new game comes out, or something just triggers a project idea, and you're like, oh, I'm going to do all this. But if you get on a project that's unrealistic, and it's like, this is going to take me a long time, then you just got to be honest with yourself and say, look, as much as I'd like to do this, I know after a few days or whatever, I'm going to want to play something else, and then this is going to be forgotten. So sometimes I like to try to bang out a 3 or 4 game project and say, at least I finished it, and it's okay. I'm happy with that. So yeah, unrealistic projects are a night one. Doug says he likes to flirt around with the product. Yeah, I'm the same way. I got a bunch of things going on right now. Again, some long, some short. Some I just printed out. I printed out some teams for the 49 highlight hockey, and I plan on playing some. I got some of the playoff teams done, so I'm going to play some finals. I'm going to play some semifinals. There's just some really neat matchups. I got Bruins Quebec from might be 81, 82. They had a great 7-game series, so I printed those two teams up. I was talking earlier that Montreal Vancouver played a series, so I like to play the Canadian team sometimes. So I think I'm going to try to print out those two teams and play that series. And I just like to go back and play some of the odd games. Like I did that Atlanta and the LA Kings from 75-76. That was a first round playoff game, playoff series, best of 3. And it went the full distance. And that was a really fun playoff series to do. And I don't remember watching this as a kid, but I remember all the names. It's like, oh, that. So I enjoy stuff like that. I really do. But I like playing the different games too. So the other day I played some Apple hockey. I played it offline. I don't think I did it here, but I played offline. I played, what did I play? Oh, I played a playoff game. It was Bruins Kings. Actually, it was. Yeah, it was the Bruins and the Kings from, might have been 75-76. What was it? It was, yeah, 75-76. Apple hockey, Bruins, Kings, and Kings pulled it out in overtime, 3-2. So Kings lead that series. That game went 7 in real life. So now it's geared up to be going a long way too, because the Kings stole game 1 in Boston in overtime. It was a fun game. The goaltender was it no, Vachon was in the net. I think it was. He made a ton of saves for the Kings. A lot of saves. So they Bruins lost that game. So again, I got a bunch of different things. I've been really trying to enjoy the smaller stuff, like the playoff. Take a playoff series between 2 and 7 games if it's for hockey, and or baseball. Maybe a best of 5 or something like that. But I always like the hockey best of 3. Because that's just a couple of games and you're done. And so it's nice and easy to squeeze those in. What else was I doing here? So sometimes I like to do the smaller ones and just kind of bang those out. And that's kind of fun. Well, I was just going to say something about the, and Apple football. Holy cow. I'm afraid I forgot how to play Apple football, which is, I keep saying it's my favorite game. Probably my favorite. Well, again, I have a ton of favorite games, but that's at the top of my list. I wish I had more time to play. I need to pull that out and give it a go and see if I remember how to play it. Because people were asking questions in the Apple football group, and I was like, oh boy, I don't remember some of the answers to these questions. I mean, once I get it back on the table, I'm hoping I can shake off the rust, right? And that'll be good. All right, take care. Thanks for coming by. And Barbara's playing hockey, but she wants to jump on some baseball now too. Yeah, I mean, that's what we do. We do things like that. And Fenner's coming by in his lunch break. Thanks for coming by. We're just kind of chatting here about projects and why we might stop playing them. Arnold says, I play cards and dice for my short-term products, computer for seasons products. Oh, that actually makes a lot of sense. It really does. Fenner says he hasn't got to a Stone Cold tournament in a while because he's playing History Maker Golf and Pine Tar. I mean, isn't that the dilemma, right? That's the dilemma that we have, is we have so many games to play, and there's so many good games. And even if it's not your favorite game, sometimes you play a game just because it's good and it does some things that you enjoy. And I talk about that all the time. Like I play so many games because everyone does something a little bit different that makes you happy. Sometimes it's how fast it plays. Sometimes it's the details. Sometimes it's you're in the mood for a dice game, or in the mood for a fast action game, or in the mood for basketball or baseball or hockey, whatever it is. And so it's just kind of like going out to dinner. What do you want to eat? I don't know. What do you want to eat? And that's kind of what it is that, you don't have to go to your favorite restaurant. You can go to another place, and, your favorite restaurant's not going to be mad at you because you just can't go there all the time. At least for me, I like to bounce around, play different games. And Jeff comes back and says, I think the key is not to feel guilty as you switch from product to product. I find eventually I do knock some of them off and enjoy playing them all, even if on and off. Well, like Ron always said, and he says, there's no hurry to play these. It's not like you're under a contract to play these at a certain amount of time. It's your game. It's your way. It's your table. Take as much time as you want and put off a project, come back. I find that if I leave a project for too long, then I found so many other things to do and play that I don't go back to it. It's just kind of, that's, I don't want to say it's dead, but chance of me going back, because the excitement is gone at that point there. So whatever excitement that was built up for that project is long gone, and so many other layers of excitement are on top of that. That to go peel all those layers off and go back to this project and be like, mm, there was excitement there for this at one point, but I'm not sure if it's still there. And it might be. It might be. There's no guarantee. Um, but yeah, so for me, I tend not to go back. Fenner says, I haven't played shootout hockey in a while, which is sad because I love it. I was thinking that same thing. I was going to pull that out the other night, and instead I pulled out APA, and I played that. Shootout always was a favorite of mine. And I was going to play some playoffs for that, too. I was going to take out shootout and play probably like a playoffs from 74, 75, or 70, 71, and just kind of play a series with that, because you can play that in 15, 20 minutes, 25 minutes maybe. And I was going to pull out all the extra players too, and keep track of all that. And I technically could do an as played with shootout, just because if you roll and you identify a player that didn't play in the game, just identify the next player. So you could do that in shootout, because they do have all the guys in there somewhere with shootout. So that's kind of fun. But yeah, I haven't played that in a while either, and I missed that. I did pull out the cards the other day. I forget what I was doing with that. Maybe I did play a game. Because I had the cards here on the table. I might have played a game of shootout and just forgot that I played it. I do that once in a while. I'll pull out a game and just bang it out. And then I don't broadcast it. I don't post it. I just kind of play it and just have some fun. Mr. Bassman, slapping the bass, comes by. Good to see you. I actually was looking at my guitars today, because I had to move some stuff. I was doing some work down here, so I moved everything out, and I had a couple guitars in the cases, and I'm like, oh, I haven't touched these in years. I got a bass over here. So I got two basses over here somewhere. I just haven't played them. I gotta get off the pot with that. I gotta either play some of these things or just get rid of them, because they're just, by the time I play them, they're all out of whack. And it's like, now I don't want to play them. So if you play them, they stay in whack a little bit more. But yeah, that's just me. It's you got to choose what you want to do. And I still got my drums over there. I want to go bang on the drums. I want to bang on the drums all day. And I haven't played those in a year. I just get busy with things. I come in here and do the videos here, or I got the show, or work, or the play-by-play, or just I want to play something on a tabletop, and I just don't have the time to sit and do the music thing anymore. And so then I get real rusty, and yeah. And then you go back and listen to some of your old videos or old songs that you wrote, and you're like, oh man, I need to play again. Doug asked if I tried the new Above the Rim basketball PC game. No, I saw that it was out, and I was talking about that earlier, and that's why I went back to my Replay PC basketball, which that product's now on the other computer, and I don't think I could get it. Actually, I don't think there's any way I could get that, because I can't get the computer to spark up and recognize both drives. So I think that one's done. So anything on that computer that I needed to export is probably gone. But I saw that it was college. And I'm not a big college guy. I just, not my thing. I mean, if I'm home on a Saturday after work and I'm chilling out, especially like Saturday night, like late Saturday night, 10 o'clock, my day's done. I'm done whether I'm doing stuff here or not, and I'm just sitting on the TV. I like to go and find some crazy colleges to watch. And I don't know anybody, but it's fun to watch, Ohio, Mississippi, Southern take on, Florida, Arkansas, or whoever. There's all these weird schools, and there's not a lot of people in the stands. But I like watching the weird schools. Actually, what I'll do is I'll skip around, and during the season there'll be 5 or 6 different games on cable TV, and I just try to find the closest score. A lot of them are blowouts, like 42-0, 37-3. It's like, well, there's no sense watching this, so I'll try to find the game that's closest in score and watch that, or try to go to the fourth quarter and watch a game finish and see how that goes. So that's the only time I really do anything college is with just kicking back and watching TV. But I don't know anything about who the best teams are in college football, even in the past. I mean, I knew a couple of the BC teams, but I just knew a couple of the guys. So I don't follow even college hockey. I don't really watch sometimes I watch the Bean Pod up here, which is kind of neat, but I couldn't tell you anybody on the teams. I know APA puts out college hockey, and I haven't bought any of that because I just don't know anybody. And college basketball is probably that's up there with boxing for me. I don't like anything to do with boxing. I just don't. It's not my thing. And college basketball, I don't watch March Madness. I just could care less. I just don't. Basketball, I'm a very casual basketball. I'm like a Larry Bird guy. I'm like from the early 70s to mid to late 80s. That's where my basketball is. JoJo White and all those guys. Bill Russell. I like watching those guys there. But I don't really watch the modern basketball, and I don't watch anything college at all as far as basketball goes. So sorry, just me. Some people say they don't like hockey, and that's fine. I'm not going to get mad at you if you don't like hockey. But I like my professional sports. I do. I like watching guys play for 10 or 15 years. In college, they get one or two, maybe three, and then they move on. And maybe that's part of the allure of college sports is people move on to the pros. But I like following a guy for a while and seeing how his career goes. Just me, you know. So again, we all have our thing. Let's see. So no, I have not tried Above the Rim PC. If they come out if they have a pro version, maybe. But I have Replay PC, and that's good enough. And the new Action PC coming out shortly. I have some people that are going to get back to me. Supposedly you can put in stats, so it'd be kind of neat to play some bank shot basketball or regular season basketball, or even the Downey player of the game basketball, and put in stats and play along with Action PC, because that way you could even sim the games, which would be fun. So that way you could play along in a season on the tabletop and still have the game simmed, which I think is the best of both worlds, actually. And Ed comes by. Good to see you, Ed. I tune into your stuff when you put out a new song. I go check it out, or if you do a distortion pedal shootout, I like to go and watch that stuff there. I haven't played it, so you're doing more music and less tabletop. I notice you haven't put any videos out in a while with that. I'm the opposite. I'm doing the tabletop stuff, and I haven't touched my music stuff. I did, again. I had to move my guitars out of the way today to do something, but I just put them back. But I still have my Flying V's on my Rhodes guitars. I have a black and a white one sitting out that I didn't spend a lot of money on, but I haven't really played either. And then I got my electronic drums that I haven't played, that I want to go bang over there. What's really great on YouTube, they have drumless tracks. And so they start off with a little metronome, like, and then like the music comes in, but it's no drums. And so you can make up whatever you want. I love doing that. I can hardly keep the beat sometimes, but it is so fun just playing around and putting your own beat. And sometimes I'll do it a few times and I'll get an idea when the changes are coming in. So I'm like, okay, here comes the bridge and I'll do this. And here comes the chorus and I'll do this. And so after a few times, it almost turns into a song where I keep playing the same stuff. And so I enjoy that. That's kind of what I do for music now. Although I go back, I was on the treadmill the other day, and I put on my old demo tape. We had 4 or 5 or 6 songs that I still have on my iPhone from the early 90s, and they were good. I was like, man, we could have opened up for somebody with some of those songs back in the day. That's how good they were. And I listened to my bass lines, and I'm like, man, how did I do that? I couldn't play those bass lines now. I was ripping on some of those, and I don't think I could play that now, which is too bad. But I did enjoy playing it back in the day. But thanks for coming by, Ed. We haven't talked in a while. Hope things are okay with you in distinct kicking motion. Fenner says the trip to Canton. Yeah, that's not happening. Unfortunately, too many bad things started happening around here, one way or another. Work, personal life, health, things like that. So it's probably not going to happen. If it happens, it'll be a Hail Mary, pardon the pun. If everything would have fallen into place, and right now nothing's in place, so I don't think it's going to happen. But if by chance everything did, and I scrambled and made it happen, then I would like to. But I just think that too many things are happening right now. And I have not been to Cooperstown. I heard that they might be doing something up in Cooperstown. That would be more drivable for me, because going to Canton's 12 hours. That's the other thing. And if I got things going on and I'm 12 hours away, that's going to be stressful for me. So at least if I'm only 4 or 5 hours away, I can drive home from that and if and do that in the night. But I would like to get to the Baseball Hall of Fame. I know they do some APA things out there once in a while, so I'd like to go. I wouldn't play, but I would like to go and watch it and talk to people and see the Hall of Fame. So that would be my next trip. I would think. I hope. I hope. And Doug says, I prefer the pro basketball. I do too. I do too. And, oh yes, Larry Bird, Dr. J. Oh, I had that game. Was it Commodore 64 or something like that? And they used to smash the backboard, and the guy would come out with a broom, and he'd be swearing as he cleaned up the glass. I had that. That was fun. Trader Steve says a PC shop can remove the hard drive from the dead machine and pull data from it unless encrypted. It's not encrypted. I was at least smart enough before the thing completely went, because what was happening is it wasn't recognizing the D drive, and then I would boot it up and do a few things, and it would recognize the D drive. So on one of those occasions where it did boot up okay, I sat there all day and I pulled all the data off my D drive. So, but I wasn't smart enough to go into Action PC Replay or Digital Diamond and export the seasons I was playing. But I got all the data. So as far as like a lot of my seasons or any of my music or any of my graphics or spreadsheets, so I did pull all that off. In fact, I'm due for to do that on this computer now too, so I can make sure I don't lose anything. So I didn't lose any data. There's no way I could go back and fire up the game and export the game because it's not recognizing the D drive anymore. And I don't know if it was the C drive that did that. I don't know if it's the D drive. I don't know if it's the operating system. I don't know if it's the motherboard, but it was one of those big honking alien things too. It's wicked heavy. I need to break it apart and get rid of it. I thought about just taking out the hard drives and just seeing if I could sell the shell, but yeah. So I did get all the data off. I would need to fire up the game. Oh, and luckily I pulled the Strat off too. I was able to pull get Strat on the new computer. I did all the codes that you're supposed to do and just uninstalled on that computer. So, which is a pain, a real pain. It really is. And if your computer's dead and you can't get at it, then it's even more of a pain. So somebody was talking about that the other. I think it was Demos. He did a Strat talk, Stratomatic Baseball talk about the cards and dice and the PC, and that was one of the things. It's certainly hard to work those. Get it on a new computer. It is tough. You think you can restore the seasons from the game files? I might have to. I don't know if I I don't know if I saved the game files. That's the one thing I don't know if I did or not, and I'm not sure where they would be either. So, but it's not that big of a deal. I mean, I had fun with it, and it was enjoyable. I was having problems with it anyway. That game was rolling dice turned into a problem. It was you'd roll the two dice, and then the blue die would take forever to roll. It's like, what is going on here? It was like, I don't know, Jucker thought there was a memory leak or something, because there'd be other times it'd be flying through, it'd be playing great, and you could play right through the game. And other times you'd be waiting for the dice to roll. It's like, why? What's going on here? So it kind of, and I think it did it on his computer too. So it's must be an issue with the program, because I think it happened to both of us. So a dead computer, that's one way to lose interest in a project. The next project, that's another way. I mean, aside from, a new game and new seasons and new things, sometimes you just like me, I get stimulation all over the place with sports. And so I'll be sitting there on YouTube, and it'll talk about, the history of the Golden Seals, or I talk about a player, or talk about something that happened, and it's like, oh, I want to go play that series now. And now I got to come downstairs and find out, what game it is and what I'm going to play it in, and do that and scratch that itch. So it's kind of like, when you're sitting there watching TV and you see that hamburger and you're like, I'm dying for a hamburger. That's the same thing with me. If I'm on YouTube or Facebook or, wherever else I go, and I start seeing things, and it's like, something, I really I really want to play this game. Or I see a picture of somebody in a uniform, and it's like, oh yeah, remember that team? Remember that? I gotta go play them. I do. I do. Um, so for me, it's just like watching a food commercial. You just get hungry, so you want to go and play something. That's just kind of what I do. Again, there's no right, there's no wrong. We play and we have fun. Um, so as far as other reasons to abandon a project, sometimes it's just going weird, whether it's too good or too bad, and sometimes it's not what you expected, and I know we you play to see what your results are going to be, but sometimes it's really weird, and sometimes it's like, it's just, however it's going, whatever I'm playing, whatever I'm doing, it's really weird. So many times when I play the '86 Sox with Clemens, it just doesn't work out that he plays well at all. And I get, 5 or 10 games in, I'm like, wow. It's like this no sense going any further. He's not going to come close to his mark. It's just not happening. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't need to continue on. I think I know where this is going, and even if he wins every game from here on out, it's still not going to reach what he did. And at this point, I kind of don't care. I just don't care, because I was kind of hoping he'd play well, and he wasn't playing well, and it's just like, yeah, that's all right. Oh, let's see here. Seen the other day story about the fall of the Kansas City Scouts. Yeah, I've seen that one a few times. I didn't really know a lot about the Scouts, but you get on YouTube and you find the people talking about it, and what happened in the '70s and the team. And I didn't realize that they couldn't even play a home game until um about late October, early November. I think they played the first 11 games on the road or something like that, because it was the arena wasn't ready. I don't know why they let them put a team in Kansas City. The arena wasn't ready, but they forced the team into Kansas City. They played on the road. They got smoked, and they came home, and it just wasn't good. And they were even putting on concerts. They were having some well-known acts come into Kansas City and play either before or after the game to draw people in, and it still wasn't working. Yeah, well. It was really interesting to see that thing on the seals the other day. And I mean, I've heard the story a million times, but he really focused a lot on what happened when they moved to Cleveland and how that all went down. And that's something I didn't know all about that. But yeah, Cleveland was a disaster right from the get go, and they tried to pull out. And feel bad for guys like Maloche and Maruk, who kind of went the whole gamut all the way through the Seals and the Barons. I think Maloche ended up in Pittsburgh, so I think he might even been on a cup team at some point. Maybe, no, maybe not. I forget. Um, but yeah, Joe, I did see that. The Cleveland Spiders on Stratomatic. Yeah. JT Hetrick's trying to get me to get him on the show, and I do want to get him on the show at some point and talk about that, because he wrote a book on his playthrough with the Spiders. I did that myself with Strat, and I didn't play every game, but I did play, and I did have some fun with it. And that was on the computer, so that's one of those ones that, yeah. So someone said about longer projects on the computer. That's the way to go with that. Is just, I could play on that and when I wanted to, and I didn't have to keep any stats, and then worry about breaking out the teams. I just kind of played it on the computer, and whatever it was, and we played, and we had a good time with that. A lot of us had a lot of fun with that Spiders replay. But I did see someone come out with a book on that, and so that's something I want to look into, about getting that person on the show. And Michael brings up a really, really good point here. Sometimes it is more fun to do the research and set them up than actual playing. That is a really good point. Sometimes it's fun to go and research teams or players and see what happened. Go to the games, go to the sports reference pages, which I'm there all day long. If I'm not on YouTube, I'm on sports reference, either hockey or the football, one of them. I'm there all day. And you look at the games, and you see who played in the games, and see the results. And you just learn about like what was going on. That game I played with the Seals, 70-71. It was Seals and Blackhawks. I think it was 9-0. I think I said it was 8, but I think it was 9-0. And I played that game a couple of times, tried to do as played, and I did that in highlight hockey. And my results were 7-1 and 7-1. And then when I played the quick decks, it was 12-1 or 12-2. So it was pretty close to what it was in real life. But they had the third or fourth string goalie in for the Seals, Bob Snedden, and PJet will tell you all about that guy. So he was, kind of the sacrificial lamb for that game, and they let him get lambasted in that game. They never took him out. So you knew they were going to lose. You're going to lose badly. So you put in your third string guy, take your beating, and go home. But it was fun researching that game and looking that game up and setting up my lineups, because the next day or the next game for Chicago, they played Montreal, and Chicago had a much, much different lineup against Montreal than they did California. So I'm thinking they moved some guys around, or probably put some guys in that and rested other guys. I mean, they still had their big guns, but it was a very different lineup on it, because I was like, I'll just keep this roster here, play Montreal. Oh, no. There was 3 or 4 guys that were very different when they played the Canadians versus the Seals. So that's something to keep in mind too. I'm interested in hearing what he did with the Spiders on the in his project on Strat. Yeah, I would like to hear that too, because as someone who went through it myself and learned a lot about the Spiders, thanks to JT Hetrick and his book, and having him on here, that would be kind of fun. Doug says, yeah, that is true. Researching the teams can be fun when you play them. Yeah, because you learn a lot about things. You learn a lot about teams. You learn a lot about players, about the times. What was going on in the 70s, or what was going on in the 60s, or what was going on in the late 90s, or whatever it is. It's it's fun just digesting the sports nostalgia, if you will. Ed says, part of me wants to get 2024 Strat or APA just to play this the White Sox, or maybe this year's cards to be the Rockies. Yeah, the Rockies are doing bad this year, aren't they? I like that. I like playing the bad teams. I do. I don't know why, I just do. And I think a lot of guys are going to be playing last year's White Sox, either in Strat or APA. I don't think I'm going to get those seasons. I'm trying to think if there's a baseball game that I could play that in. That I'd want to buy that season to play the White Sox. See, the thing is, I don't know anybody in the White Sox. I don't even know anybody in the Red Sox. I don't follow modern baseball all that much. I just not my thing. I don't even know if was it Milton Bradley or Milton Berle. I don't know if he still plays on the Sox. He was one guy I knew. And Ohtani, I don't know if he still plays with, was it the Chiefs or something like that? The guy hit both way in the pitcher. I don't follow it. So I wouldn't want. I mean, I would like to play like a quicker play game to kind of see how they did. So if I could find a quick play baseball game and run some games for them without having to worry about the players. I just don't know them. But I mean, it would be fun to play the bad team. So I hear you on that. And let's see back here in the chat. And Joe says, going through a phase right now, packed up my sports gaming table and been playing video games. Nothing wrong with that. I still play. So I bought a couple of video games the other day. They had some sales for these $2 or $3 games. One was a flying game, very similar to a Snoopy game that had. Snoopy was like the Red Baron. And it looked very similar to that for $2. And then I think I got a car racing game or something like that for $2. Every time Steam has a $1 or $2 sale, I grab a couple of games. And even if I play it once or twice, I got my money's worth out of that. So I go back. I still haven't gone back to Oblivion. Oh my gosh, that was so fun. I played that hard for a few days and then I stopped, but it was good. I'll get back to Oblivion. Oblivion was real fun. But then I get sucked back in there to the table because I really like these tabletop games. Then I started playing, like I say, Bank Shot back in the spring, and that was fun. And then now with the 49 hockey's fun again. And I keep wanting to pull out the APA baseball And I did have Apple Hockey on the table the other night. I played some Hockey Bones too. I've been playing a lot of hockey this summer. It's fun to get back into that. But yeah, but playing video games, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. I'm not a big fan of the. You've heard my story. I stopped playing video games because I couldn't. I can't do this anymore. So I play Oblivion on real easy, or if I play these racing games, I play no damage and just real easy, and I just play and I just enjoy myself and just I don't worry about trying to be the best because I'm not, and I know it now. Sadly, season ticket baseball, maybe. That might be one. Oh, Jeff, I bought that. I was listening to that at the airport when I went to Colorado. I haven't finished it, not even close. But I was enjoying that. I really was. I was enjoying listening to the setup of the season. I really want to get a little further into it. And here would go here, but as the season went on, I'd like to know and what led to them, finally disbanding and merging with the NBA. So I'd like to hear that story, but I haven't finished it. It was long. It was really long, so I haven't gone back to that. I picked that up cheap. I not cheap, but I think I got it for like $10 off. For whatever website I went to, I was like, "Oh, okay." Yeah, everything's on easy mode. Yeah, I hear you. I do. And Barbara wants to play some BF6, Battlefield 6. I haven't played any of the shooter games. I did like the Assassin's Creed games because those you could just run up the pyramids and jump off the Sphinx and stuff like that. It was just stupid fun, and I enjoyed that and exploring. That was a good time. I did enjoy that when I could play. Now this is so relaxing. The table stuff is just it's so different, so relaxing, and you don't got to worry about updates and you got to wait for this update, and no internet connection is a problem. You just play. You pull it out and you play. I turn around, grab me any of these games back here, put it on the table, and I'm playing. I don't got to worry about it. As long as I have light, and if my light goes out, I use a flashlight. It's like Abraham Lincoln, with a candle. But so yeah, getting back to the projects things, why we abandon projects. Again, there's a lot of good reasons. You find new games, new things, something shiny comes along. Sometimes just get bored with a project. It's not going well. Computer dies, or sometimes it just kind of falls off the table. You're enjoying it, and I'm having fun with it, and it's something I want to do and keep track of, and then all of a sudden you just start doing other things, or maybe life gets in the way. Sometimes life gets in the way, good and bad. Sometimes you have some really good things happening. You're like, oh man, this is great. I'm going to go and, enjoy my time here, or hang out with friends, or, get a new dog, or, I know the wife and I were really getting into some of these series on Apple TV. So we would watch 3 or 4 episodes a day after I get done with work. So that cut into my gaming time. So things like that happen. Then there's the bad things, jobs and health and, just kind of things you got to deal with, and so you don't get to the gaming table. So sometimes life gets in the way, and something will fall off the table. That's maybe it's just like one of these little fringe projects you were doing. It's like, oh, this is kind of fun. I'll get to it when I get to it. But then it just boom, it falls off, and you kind of refocus on the main ones that you were doing. Is another thing too. Parallel League said his computer broke and he lost Steam. Well, the good thing about Steam, and I know some people don't like Steam, but the thing about Steam is it's in the cloud, right? And it's good and bad about the cloud, okay? But the thing is, if your computer goes down, all you can do is when you get a computer back up and running, no matter which one it is, you just go to your Steam account and everything's there. And that's the beauty of that. That's what the cloud was designed for, and that's great. And I know you don't technically own the game, and there's a big, battle about that. If you have the disc, then you own. I get all that. But I've gone through so many computers here in the last 10 or 15 years that it's nice to know that games I bought, 15 or 20 years ago are still in my library, and I can download them and play them. And the only time I'd have a problem is if they told me I couldn't. If they said, sorry, this game's no longer available, then yeah, you're right. Now I'm screwed out of that game and I don't own it anymore. And it has happened, I imagine. but I really like I really like Steam. I think Steam does a good job with what they do. So I like that there. And yeah, Barbara says she's got a Steam account on PC and laptop just in case. Yep. Yep. Let me see here. Carter says most products I ban is due to the fact that I need to change PC to laptop and lack of interest sometimes. Yeah, exactly. We were talking about that. Sometimes you have PC problems, or it becomes a project. It becomes a project for the project. If you got to change computers or do something with something on a computer, that can be such a hassle and such a project in its own that you're just like, yeah, forget it. And then the lack of interest. Yeah, there's been so many things I've started. It's like, oh, this could be fun. I want to check this out, and it's just, yeah, it's fun for a game or two. And then you're like, oh man, it's just, yeah, I'm all set with that. So there's times, there's times that'll happen too. That you just lose interest. It does, and then you move on to something else. But again, there's no right, there's no wrong. The only thing is that and that's why I do the Dave's Classic Rewind, is because I don't want to do a project here, like Ron does. Ron does, the whole baseball season, and RJL does the whole baseball season, and Dwayne Martz, he does too. So a lot of guys, you can go to their channel and follow along, almost on a daily basis to how their season's going, and I don't want to lead people on like that. So that's why I jump on once in a while. I might play something. And so I don't want to, get anybody interested in my project and then not get back to it, because I just don't want to, I don't think that's fair. So a lot of times I just kind of play a one-off. Again, every now and then I'll pull out my 76 Red Sox and play that so you guys can see that. Or if I'm playing a playoff series, I might go back. Say, hey, remember this one I played here? But the correct thing to do is do what they do. Just kind of play that season and finish that up, and so people can focus on one thing. But with here on my channel, I like to play so many different things and talk to so many people and explore so many games that that's not the approach that I take here on the channel. Right or wrong, I guess that's all up to you guys there. But anyway, so I think I'm going to jump out here because I do have to work in the morning. I got one more big day of work tomorrow, and then I got to get ready for the interview tomorrow night with Grant as we talk about 49 hockey. Maybe he will tease a new season. What do you think? New hockey season. That'd be great if you would tease a new season. I'd like to see a few more seasons for that game because it is so fun, and there's so many games I want to play. So many like teams and playoffs and things like that. So so I'm kind of hoping he'll come up with some more. And I think enough people are playing the game now and that would buy new seasons day one that I think it would be worth it for him to do it. I hope it is. So anyway, so and Joe says he's got 3,200 games. I have a lot of games too. I got games I've never played. I bought and just for whatever reason, just you bought on a whim on a sale. And I don't think I've ever played full price for too many things on Steam. I always just find the summer sale or the Black Friday sale, and you find these $1-2 games, or maybe there's a $40 game that's on sale for $5 or something like that. But I try not to spend. I have a ton of games, and they're all really inexpensive games, so I don't have anything really major on there. If I do, it's a real old game, and I got it real cheap. Like I think I have like Grid and Grid 2. I really like those racing games, and I just put it on the easiest mode possible. And I think they were big games at one point, but I got them, for $5 or $10 because they're so old. And I was like, oh, perfect. I don't care if they're 10 years old. They'll probably even run better on my computer. Yeah. Oh, well. So anyway, all right. So we're going to jump out here, and we will talk to you hopefully tomorrow night. When we get Grant on here tomorrow night, maybe around 8 o'clock tomorrow night, Boston time, we talk some Quick Decks hockey and Quick Decks football with Grant Fines. I'm Dave. Have a good night. Thanks for tuning in, and bye-bye.